What's up, you nerds? Welcome back to Yellow Spandex. This week we talk about all kinds of stuff, including the indexing Harley Quinn thing. They changed the name. It's interesting. Also, Super Bowl happened, commercials released, Oscars. We talk about that. A little bit of Cyclops in there as well. James Marston had an idea about what the new X-Men should be, and what I wrote next was just insert fart noise. So on that.
We just catch up on the Super Bowl stuff we missed out when we were sick too. So.
Oh man, I'm still fighting it.
All right.
Coming at you right now on Yellow Spandex.
Little Caesars has come a long way, man. I remember Little Caesars sucked.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, when I was a kid, I liked it better than this.
Really?
But I know they were all like small places. Mine might have been different. And
Yeah, maybe.
I missed the 2 square pizzas in the long rectangle box.
I do miss that. I think that's more like this, like these cheese breads. I don't like the regular pizza, like the regular Little Caesars. It's got to be the thin crust or the cheesy bread.
I usually like the normal one, but after I had the thin crust with the veggies, I was like, yeah, that's where it's at.
So good.
You haven't heard from us in a few weeks because we've all been sick. We were supposed to have our year
50
episode.
50-second. Yeah. Hey, welcome. It's kind of a year.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
It's like a month past a year, but it's a year. Like the new 52.
The new 52.
So what's up first?
Okay, we'll just go over a few things that we missed. Right after Super Bowl, there was a ton of stuff that came out.
Oh gosh, I
obviously-
still haven't even seen any of the new commercials or anything.
What?
Really?
You saw the Falcon one, right?
Oh well, I've seen that.
The
Yeah.
Disney Plus and the
Yeah.
None of
MCU.
what does Clorox's commercial look like for 2020 now? What is
Well, they had the wasn't there a Wonder Woman was in it?
Tide?
Yeah.
See, Tide.
So I think I didn't see the Wonder Woman
didn't see any
commercial
of those.
during the Super Bowl, but I saw it before Birds of Prey.
Yeah.
Does Oreos have a new commercial? These are things I'm asking myself.
Anything but
Today.
superheroes.
Yeah.
All right, let's go for what.
Well, the Clorox one had had Charlie Day or whatever, and there was just a bunch of one that was kind of told a little story or whatever. And I think Wonder Woman was in it in the end, right?
Oh, okay. I didn't see that one.
Yeah. And we'll pause it. We'll see. Hold on. And we're back.
I don't understand the hook. Like, I get it, you can do the laundry later, but I don't know why they're trying to do that slogan,
I don't know.
like the hashtag and everything.
Oh yeah, it's not a very good tagline, huh?
I guess it's like, hey, you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, but I thought they were gonna like promote like pre-treat or something.
Yeah.
They're literally just like, nah, you can just do tomorrow.
Yeah. It's not. It'll be fine. It won't stain.
But also, there was so many weird integrations. Obviously, the Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
but like,
I don't think anybody even knows what we're talking about, to be honest.
oh,
In the commercials, Charlie Day couldn't get his shirt out, or the stain out of his shirt, and so Clorox is like, you can wait later.
or Tide.
Or Tide, sorry.
Probably the same company.
Or
It probably is.
Yeah.
And then Wonder Woman at the end, as it's obviously a clip from the movie,
Yeah.
Cut into.
he's cut into the movie somehow, and she's like, we won't be doing that now.
He's like rotoscoped.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, but then there was like the one like where there was like a Budweiser guy.
Oh,
and
yeah.
stuff. So it was like all these like
There was
cross
other
branding
ones,
things.
right?
Like all the brands are having like these like extended universe things. Like, did you see the one?
That's
with
true. I
Mis-
didn't even notice that the
Mis-
Budweiser guy was in the Tide commercial.
Yeah.
What?
And then,
Oh, yeah.
Did you see the Mr. Peanut thing?
No.
So our friend Ruth Marcus, who we met through our friend Ruth Ann, he was actually out on the East Coast producing the commercial like live. Kind of. Well, that's a whole other thing. But anyway, so like a few weeks before the Super Bowl, Mr. Peanut dies.
Yeah.
Right. He goes over a cliff and dies in a car crash.
Not Mr.
And so
Peanut.
during the Super Bowl, they had his funeral. And okay, so you put a peanut in the ground, right? And then like at the funerals, like Mr. Clean, the Kool-Aid guy, like
the whole crew.
so like this is like and then the Kool-Aid guy
The Great
cries.
Tiger.
Oh yeah, Tony the Tiger's there, and then the Kool-Aid guy cries, and his tear lands on the grave, which a peanut has been buried in, and it sprouts into a baby peanut.
Oh, gosh.
And
But it's
they called it Baby Nut, which
Yeah.
I think no one thought about when they went to
Right.
market that. He's cute. I don't know, like
and it's still him.
yeah, because it's kind of
Not
like
even
yeah,
a
it's kinda-
baby nut.
but
He's
it's like-
like it's
yeah,
baby.
it's like Groot. It's like Groot slash
No,
Baby
even-
Yoda.
Even Groot sounded like a baby when he got chopped.
Yeah, you gotta know that this is still he does a whole bit where he like speaks in dolphin, and then they're like, "What?" And he's like, "I'm just kidding. It's just me."
It's weird.
So now, like, I think
It's
there's
so
like,
out there.
but the whole point of that was like now, like that's 2 commercial sets now that I've seen that have like
Crossed.
like
universe.
it's like it's like a universe of like brand mascots.
yeah.
Okay.
Kind of,
They
but
should
Wonder
have their
Woman.
movie. Where's their movie?
I don't want to see that movie.
Crossover. I don't know, man.
Clean.
That could be fun.
Tony, go.
I think this will be better than DC. Unless we get that dark and gritty Mr. Clean movie.
It's like, where's
Toucan
Kool-Aid when you
Sam.
need him? And then he busts through the wall.
You know,
Sugar Grams, or was it Honeygram guy?
Honeygram guy. Sugar Bear. That bear.
so I don't know. I'm excited for the Wonder Woman movie though, because I saw the actual commercial or trailer during before Birds of Prey.
Yeah.
I don't know that. You know the thing that did it though, whatever that song is, they cut it to. It hits you and all right. They must have market tested at that because it feels like the '80s. It makes me feel nostalgic, but it feels futuristic. Like
It evokes
yeah.
those all those right emotions.
So I don't know if it's an existing song. Is it an existing song?
I don't even know what you're talking about.
I think it is.
I'm gonna like watch. Somebody's gonna comment and be like, "Bro, that's like Blue Monday or something." But like it is whatever. However they mixed it sounded different than
Blue Oyster Cult Rock.
Yeah.
Get it right.
right. Like,
Oyster Cult.
but like if it is a song I already know, they did something to it, so it
Right.
sounds like a little different, you know. And you know, it just like really evokes. I'm super excited. And then when she like lassos the lightning to swing
yeah,
across,
that's ridiculous.
I was like, I'm sold.
Ride the lightning.
Yeah.
Nice.
that's part of the comic, right?
Probably.
Or her like
Well, I don't know.
Even if it's not, that's what I want to see Wonder Woman do.
yeah.
It's funny. In the Teen Titans cartoon, like the silly one, they have this 80s song. It's like The Night Begins to Shine. And like I heard that song. I was like, oh, yeah. And like in the back of my brain, I'm like, oh, I know that song.
Yeah.
No, I don't. They just made it for that show. And I'm
Yeah.
like, it sounds so much like an actual song from the 80s. Like it was nuts. Like I was thinking that was like,
It was you remembered it so well.
yeah. Who sings Sister Christian or whatever? Was it Night Ranger?
Oh.
I think it just sounded like a band like that, and I'm just like, wow, yeah.
Oh my
I
God.
think I remember that.
I made a joke. It was Blue Monday.
Was it?
Yeah. So I knew it was blue. Okay, so but it was like it's like a symphonic kind of not symphonic or I don't know. It's more epic than I remember it, and there was no lyric. So it was Blue Monday. Okay,
Subconsciously you knew.
Of course.
it's just that like stock like like is it a Sawtooth kind of like 80s synth like ding, 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 like bass that's like it could be any of those songs.
Could be anything.
But maybe that's why I like because I don't know that song by heart, but it's happened at like very formative moments of like my growing up, like school dances and stuff like that.
Yes.
So I bet that like subconsciously I watched the trailer. I'm like, yeah, just because of that.
No, man. I remember when we were growing up, 80s like was kind of dead because as soon as Nirvana hit, everyone was like, heck with all that old crap.
Oh, yeah.
So alt rock channels, Q101 and everything else in Chicago. And they would have, I think at a certain point in time, they would have retro 80s hour or something. And I remember hanging out with my uncle who's easily 10 years older than me. And I mean like, ugh, I gotta turn this off. And he's like, no, this is my car and this is my music. Like, oh, I have to listen to this retro 80s garbage.
It's funny, like everything just kind of flips back and forth between like produced and organic and produced and organic, and it takes a little bit of each,
Pendulum swings.
Yeah.
All right, these other spots for the Super Bowl stuff. What do you guys think about the Fast and Furious 9 trailer?
That was hilarious. I hope that it's like just as hilarious as I thought the trailer was.
Yeah.
Because if it's not like self-aware, the movie,
It can't be.
and
has to
hilarious
be.
in that sense, because that's what the trailer portrayed
Yeah.
it as, is
didn't
being
he, like,
self-aware.
Hook on a crane or something, and then
Not
like,
even a crane. It was like the bridge went out, and so he,
Yeah.
for some odd reason, he knows that he's going to hit this bridge at just the right spot and just the right place, and it's going to hook onto the bottom of his car and fling him across or something. Like,
It was ridiculous.
oh my gosh.
Like if they go with that and it's serious, I'm out.
Well, I don't watch the Fast and Furious movies, but to my understanding, they've kind of been like that since like the third or fourth movie. They just gradually get more and more like removed from reality.
Yeah, I think the second one is probably the only one that's really in reality, and then the third one is the one with Tokyo Drift, and that's when it kind of gets way out there a little bit. But it's also like that was almost like a straight to video movie. Has nobody in it that's from the originals except for Dom's at the end for like 2 seconds.
So that's something else I had heard because, like I said, I don't follow the Fast and Furious, but at the end of this 9 trailer, there was like a thing with somebody who died in Tokyo Drift, and I guess that was the big surprise. Like, oh,
Which is weird. Like, okay, how did he not die? I don't know.
Yeah, and he's back and he's on Dom's side now.
Yep.
Like all of that was trippy.
Is Dom Vin Diesel?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
and then
Dominic, yes.
Okay.
and then bringing Dom's brother into it.
Is John
Which is
Cena?
John Cena.
I mean, not. You know how on brand that is? I don't know very much about the Fast and Furious franchise, and I was like, he's not already in this. Like, so it works. You know, I think I don't know.
No, it does.
Have you seen the memes that have been like? It's like the picture of like the whole main cast as of it is right now, and it says like they might as well just be the Avengers at this point.
Yeah.
But it's funny because if anybody does really love the Fast and Furious franchise, Nerdstalgia did a great video. Scott, he prefers the Fast and Furious franchise over the MCU, and he did a whole video about it. And so he kind of like addressed that. It's like they're basically the Avengers, and that was like a couple of years ago. So you should go look up that video.
My sister-in-law apparently loves the Fast and Furious, which is crazy. Don't they have like is it a cartoon that's on Netflix, or is it actually like a separate show? Don't they have a separate show?
I don't know. Yeah.
I gotta look this up.
Because I didn't. They're happening so quickly. They might as well be the MCU. Because didn't we just have the Calvin and Hobbes thing or whatever?
Oh yeah. Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah. The Black
Spy
Superman.
Racers. Fast and Furious Spy Races. Oh yeah, I guess it's a cartoon. Yep.
Oh, good for
There
them.
it is.
Oh, so for the
gosh.
kids.
Oh yeah, Fast and Furious just for the kids.
I mean,
Spy race.
I really should like just watch a few of them at some point, and just because I know that there's like a canonical number to watch them, like way to watch them in, like a chronological, canonical.
Well, I mean, it
way to
would be
watch them.
normally the numbers, with exception of the Hobbs and Shaw, which is right before 9.
So someone posted a list and it wasn't in order,
Really?
like of how they came out.
But I haven't seen them all.
I don't know. Yeah.
I just we saw Hobbs and Shaw though. I mean, it was just
It was
like
a
a big-
superhero
Yeah.
or like a beat 'em up.
it'd be like a funnier Die Hard, I guess.
Okay.
I don't know, or
Huh.
more out there than Die Hard.
It was a rock
know.
movie.
Yeah.
The first one came out
Pretty
when we
much.
were in college, right? Like 2001 or 2.
I think so, because I think it was right on the heels of the Gone in 60 Seconds. It was like a car
Yeah.
thing. Like everybody was into cars again, So we had car movies all over the place.
I think one of the reasons I hadn't like kept up with them is because my roommate at the time, Tyler, in college, watched Fast and Furious every night. Not even like watch, just had on, because like some friends like would put like Star Wars on
Yeah,
like, every night.
just
or
to
something.
be able
He would
to-
have it on, and I didn't get sick of it, but I just never felt the need to watch it because I knew that I could always just like look up and see it, and then I just never did,
Wow.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know. It seems fine.
It seems Fast and Furious-y.
Yeah, Fast. And what somebody had like, are you ready for like 9 Fast, 9 Furious or something like that? Because it wasn't like, Too Fast, Too Furious was one
10
of them.
Fast, 10 Furious.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's getting crazy, guys. Yeah, it's getting too out there.
I loved the quick Winter Soldier, Falcon, and the Winter Soldier Wanda thing.
yeah.
They kind of gave us a peek. All of it.
I texted that to Josh. I was like, "Did you see this?"
And I was driving at the time. And I was like, dang it.
Because they did the yellow spandex, the red spandex in this case.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They showed Wanda. They showed Falcon. They showed Winter Soldier. Everybody had their garb on.
I'm super
U.S.
super
Agent
excited.
looks really good too.
Loki too. Yeah.
Yeah, super stoked about all that. Specifically, now that we saw literally split seconds of the WandaVision, I think I'm still most excited about that.
It's so weird. You just see the stuff of people putting them like against actual television shows.
Yeah, the sitcoms.
It was like they had like Leave It to Beaver. They had Family Ties. What else did they have?
Menace the
bunch of them.
Menace. No, just
It's something like that, I'm sure, because that's what it kind of looked like. So,
Also, it was kind
Roseanne
of like,
was one of them. Yeah.
oh, really?
Yeah.
It's kind of like one of those things. Who did that? Oh, Faith Hill. Remember that video, This Kiss?
I don't remember
Yeah.
the video. I know the
So-
song.
Yeah.
So in the 90s, this was this was like in the pinnacle of like, even if you weren't a pop artist, like if you were a beautiful person, especially a woman, the video would just be showing you a bunch of different outfits. And so This Kiss was literally like Faith Hill is like hot in every iteration. And so I don't know if this probably wasn't a nod to that, but it reminded me of like, yeah, this Olsen, she's good no matter where she is in the multiverse. It's kind of like the visual. It just flashes real quick, and then like
I'm just sad that it's like just a throwaway. I'm sure it's going to be done, like real
know.
quick.
Maybe. I mean, it kind of, yeah, like,
It's like it's going to be a Halloween costume or something,
well, it reminds me of like maybe like the Luke Cage thing. Where,
Oh, he looks in the mirror and it's like, that looks ridiculous.
yeah,
And
or well, I
gets
mean,
rid of it.
it's just it happened for whatever reason, but of course it didn't last, like you said. But like, yeah, it'll just be interesting to see. But just to have her in that, they basically recreated the screenshot that all those fake websites made for a while, which
Yeah.
I thought was a nice little troll.
Yeah.
You
That's
know,
funny.
like she's even in the same like pose. You know, like
Very true.
I'm stoked. I don't want to wait a year for all that stuff. But you know,
My daughter's super excited for The Quiet Place too.
Oh wow, yeah.
I'm cautiously optimistic. Yeah.
I know that it's really funny because we watch it at church.
Oh, The Quiet Place.
Yeah, because we do like a big once a year. We do a big party where it's an all night party where we go do like 10 different things, and the last thing that we do is we come and we watch a scary movie at like 4 a.m.
I guess there's not very much cursing in that one. So it's a good-
No, there's not. There's like a few movies that we cycle through.
yeah.
Where Signs is one of them, and what else? There's a couple. What's the other ones, Angie? She's like, I'm not.
You could you got to add Parasite to that.
Yeah. Is it watchable? Like, is it not insanely scary? Or?
Okay, so this is why I told friends about it, because you can't really talk about it without spoiling it.
Mm-hmm.
It's scary, not in the sense of a horror gore movie like A Quiet Place or something.
Mm.
It's also not scary in the sense of like, oh, it's so realistic that might happen to me. It's scary in the sense that it's happening to you already. And but it is a heavy movie, so I guess maybe teenagers might not. I don't know. You have to read subtitles, and it's a very
I don't like reading.
heavy film. But like, and I'm saying this even as a fan. If you want to look up records of our live stream and stuff, I was singing the praises of this movie way before the Oscars thing happened. But like as far as like, well, A, they won't necessarily curse because it's in Korean. It's not in English. And B, like, I don't know how youth groups are these days. When I was in high school, it was like a little superficial. But like, if you want to get into something deep, like that teaches some life lessons that I think are worth like thinking about, you know?
I'll tell John about it. I'm sure he'll want to watch it.
I mean, you guys, especially if you get a group of like adult friends or something, just to watch it. Like, you just check it out. Like, I have not recommended a film like for everybody in a long time. I think that one's like living in any kind of capitalist culture.
Even truly an eye opener.
Whatever you agree with or don't agree with, it has a really good conversation and like a lot of like. I had to look up a lot of like references and stuff later too, but
Every scene is so beautiful too as a film too, because every scene has its like plus and negative, or like its yin and yang, and you can go back and watch to everything, and even like pieces, just like practical things in the set, all have meaning as well. It's pretty ridiculous how far they take the film.
did you watch the Oscars when they won Best Picture?
No, I was actually doing some deliveries, and I was like, why the heck? Why is there helicopters everywhere? Why are the police everywhere? What's going on? And I like delivered to someone. I was like, what's going on? She's like, it's the Oscars. And I was like, oh, I'm getting out of here.
Yeah, they locked down like 8 blocks of Hollywood for that.
Yeah.
Because we know because we were there accidentally once. There's like a SWAT team out there and stuff.
I was gonna say, there's so many helicopters. It was nuts.
Yeah.
You could hear like 5 or 6. Like, what's going on?
So like they won Best Screenplay, then Best Director. Best Director Bong Joon like made a funny speech. He learned enough. He speaks a little bit of English. I don't know how much he naturally knows, but he's basically said like,
He was like, thank you in American.
Well, he says thank
That's
you.
it.
He says thank you. Well, he had an interpreter for a bigger part of the speech.
Oh, cool.
But for the director one, he was like, thank you. I will now drink till next morning and stuff. And then when he got
Because he's
backstage, he made the 2 Oscars make out like Barbie dolls. It was so funny.
I saw that picture.
But then when they won Best Picture, well, that was a historic moment because first foreign film to ever win Best Picture, and
it's true.
first Oscar for South Korea. Period. So they went up there, and he didn't make a speech. He sat on the side, and there's gifs of him like truly like appreciating the moment. You know, like he's like looking at the award and stuff. But then I think a couple of the producers gave speeches. The first one gave a speech. The second one went up to like continue, and then the camera cut away to Jane Fonda, who was hosting. I think it was Jane Fonda, and then the lights went down. And then that music and everything happened. And Tom Hanks, Charlize Theron, and Margot Robbie were in the front row, and they started booing the producers to let them finish. And they did. They reset, turned the lights back up, and let them finish. It was
Hurry up.
yeah. Well, it was a really like I don't know. They those 3 specifically, but the whole audience like kind of won like the Hollywood did something right. Because like they were like they took 3 people who were like arguably like you know cis white like privileged people and stuff
And standing up.
who like did something like without drawing attention to themselves necessarily, you know, like and recognize the historic moment for people who aren't normally at the Oscars and stuff, you know. But it was a very small thing, but like I think it's gonna be that moment's gonna be remembered for a very long time.
This respect.
you know, of like simple gesture equal to like a lot of meaning. Because like for that old lady they gave the last speech,
Yeah.
like yeah, you tell like how grateful she was, but also like Tom Hanks like was like finish your speech, you know, like
Yeah. I'm glad that they did that. I know as like probably as a producer of that show, like they're just like trying to cut as much time as possible because everyone's just like blah, 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 blah,
yeah,
normally eating up as much as they can.
But I guess I've never been a producer for like a big show like that.
Mm-hmm.
If I were them, I'd be like, we're watching history. Let's let it run for an extra 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, and then the local news can like not report about the cat got stuck on the tree or something,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
There's a lot of stuff I'm sure they cut out.
Mm-hmm.
So,
But it made for a big moment and points for the Oscars, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
good on them.
I mean,
So,
it's world breaking.
a couple more things before we get into our Birds of Prey review. Cyclops, James Marsden from the X-Men movies, was given, I guess he was going to say what they should do for the next new X-Men movies or whatever.
Oh, he's
To not screw it up.
He's got an opinion.
He offers his advice.
Nobody wants to know what Cyclops thinks.
Because I love Cyclops in
Yeah.
the comics. Even in the cartoon, like he obviously seems like a douche like most of the time, but like
Yeah.
you need like that Boy Scout guy in like the group, you know? You can't have crowd favorites for everything.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it was James Marsden or the directing or whatever.
I'm sure it's the
But, like,
writing too.
I feel like if the X-Men were done correctly, we would have loved Cyclops the way we love Captain America.
Yeah.
But
That's true.
right now we're like, he's just whiny and can't keep, you know, like
Gin.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's, gosh. I think Bryan Singer for that crap. No comic books on the set.
Yeah.
The biggest challenge was that the audience and other actors never being able to see your eyes. Definitely was a handicap in bringing a persona to the character and add an energy to the character. Who is also very, by nature, very kind of by the books, kind of Boy Scout, do the right thing.
Right.
He's a foil to Wolverine's character who is more fly by the seat of his pants, a little more unpredictable and aggressive.
Yeah.
So he kept his advice simple. I would say lean into it, own it, and carve out your own thing. The fans of the books are going to tell you it needs to be this. Find a new way to make it interesting because it's tough to get something interesting and cool and different across when no one ever sees your eyes, which is obviously, you know, the main part of the character.
What?
I think that's bullcrap.
That's just like
Wait, so
that's so surface.
So he
he's
said
saying it's impossible?
well, he's saying to basically do your own thing.
Yeah. Don't care about what the comics say. Just carve out a new path.
And he's just upset because he couldn't see his eyes. Which
We'll see if Sonic changes that. It shows like the acting prowess there.
Right?
I would think maybe for the next X-Men movie, if you see if you see Cyclops in it and you see his visor or his glasses, it'd probably be smart of them to make those like somewhat see-through so you can see his eyes.
Well, I remember some iterations of the comics. It wasn't his eyes, but you could see the glow from each individual eyeball.
Yeah.
You know, I wonder if there's something similar to that. Because you know how, because if you want to go that argument, like Spider-Man, you know, but then with Spider-Man and Deadpool, they animated.
But
like,
they
the
can
eye
take their
things.
thing off too, though.
Yeah, but
Like he can't.
well, I mean, Deadpool.
I
put it
get what
this
you
way.
mean with like the animated. Not saying animated in the sense of a cartoon, animation in the face of like acting with your face.
Well, no, Spider-Man, they like animated like these like lenses.
Yeah, the lenses a bit.
And then on Deadpool, like they exaggerated the movement of the
mask,
eyes.
yeah.
And
The
stuff. And he
eyes and-
was almost never in his without his mask, you know. And we got all that.
And I'm
Yeah.
super happy about that. Like it kind of annoys me a little bit. I know at the beginning of Iron Man, he was in his mask a lot when he was fighting or whatever. But towards the end, like, you know, towards Endgame and everything else, you start to see Tony like with his, like he's in the suit, but his mask's off all the time. Like that's not, he wouldn't be doing that. Like in a fight, like, no, I
Yeah.
got to cover my face.
I guess I'd have to go back and watch to see if this is actually true, but I feel like my emotional memory says when the key fights happen, they made sure everybody had their masks on so that the screen caps looked right, but I might be wrong about that.
Whenever he talks, you know, he takes it off.
Yeah, yeah,
Same thing with Parker, like, or Spider-Man. Like, he, you know, oh, hold on, let me take my mask off. Dude, he never takes his mask off in comics when there's other people around.
no,
Yeah.
So
that's like
I don't know.
We know why though.
It just annoys me a little bit. But
Money.
okay, James Marsden, you do well in that Sonic movie.
Watch Sonic be like an Oscar winner or something.
I'm gonna see it regardless. I want to see
I
it.
kept, or Angie was like, oh, we should go watch a movie or do something soon. I was like, we should go see the Sonic movie. She's like, no. Oh,
See
gosh.
something
I mean,
a
it's no
little
murder
more
she,
deep.
no murder she wrote.
True.
Exactly.
Can't hold a script.
Apparently, Owen Wilson might join the Loki cast.
Yeah, I was
Which is
wow.
weird to me.
Laughing.
I don't
Did
know.
they say as what?
I know they're got
Himself?
the time variance. What does they call it? Basically, like a group of people who control the multiverse and like and time and stuff. Basically, like stop you from screwing it up. And so, like, if you see in his in the little official trailer or whatever, you can see it say on stamped on his outfit, like I can't remember TVA or whatever. Anyway, basically, he's kind of under lock and key. So maybe Owen Wilson will be kind of like, remember in Guardians, they had John C. Reilly.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
kind of like that funny, dorky, whatever. Maybe he'll be like that.
Or like a Jeff Goldblum or something.
Yeah, to where he's in charge and he's just like messing with him. Yeah.
Yeah, that could be cool. That reminds me, with MCU stuff, I saw Gemma Chan posted on her Instagram maybe a week or two ago that Eternals is wrapped.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
So looks like
I'm
everything's
excited, man.
On path to be out in time.
I'm excited. So excited.
Oh, and if you're in, this is kind of tangent, but if you're into, MCU, like all the Marvel movies and stuff, Corridor Digital just did a VFX artist react, but with one of the engineers artists from WEA who did Endgame.
Oh, cool.
And they reacted to the end scene of Endgame that he did.
Oh, that's
He worked
cool.
on, and they pointed out mistakes.
Oh, wow.
It's like there's a part where like Thanos has his gauntlet or has the Iron Man gauntlet on, and he like bends his finger, and like part of the metal clips through a part that shouldn't. It like goes through like PlayStation 1 like through a wall,
Right.
kind of thing.
like-
it did it, and they froze it, and they're like, so "What was the thinking there?" And he's like, "Yeah, we just missed that."
There's too much.
I mean, like, I never noticed that.
Yeah,
I mean,
Yeah, I didn't notice.
I don't know if I watched it like 60 times and like focused in on everything. Like, I mean, it looked good enough as it is to me. So,
some super fans found duplicate characters.
oh, really?
I think if you we
Running
won't talk
around.
about it here, if you Google it, like there's Ant-Man big and small.
Oh, yeah?
in some scenes, and then there's one of the whoever Thanos's the children of
Yeah,
we call it. One of them,
Or like Corpus Glaive or whatever.
yeah,
Corvus.
not him, but one of the other guys, like one of the jacked guys,
the big
is
dude
like
with the hammer.
fighting somebody in that last big scene, and the way the timing works out, he's in two different places that he couldn't have gotten to or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's like whoever composited it, like
Well, I
Yeah,
don't know where this
okay,
is
that
from,
wasn't
but
just-
like I saw this Hulk burst out of his Hulk armor deleted scene from Infinity War.
What? That
It's weird, but
Doesn't-
he's definitely fighting him, and
Ooh.
so like maybe they were gonna throw that in.
yeah or something.
Yeah.
that can't be real.
I don't know though. Like, yeah, I think
Deleted
it's real.
scenes.
It's because it has
Yeah.
Mark Ruffalo in it, and so it's basically we'll play it real quick, and I'll put it in the show notes or whatever. But it's basically like some pretty undone CGI of like Hulk and
Actually going.
Banner fighting, kind of like, why don't we do this together? Kind of like an explanation of why he is Professor Hulk now.
Oh.
Yeah, no, I remember hearing about that. Yeah,
So here, I'll stop it so we can watch it for Vince.
Yay.
Actually, we didn't get to watch it. Boo.
Yeah.
Because Rod had said it was on Infinity.
I just
box
guessed.
Set.
Yeah, I was just guessing because I saw the Infinity Saga box set had like an extra disc of stuff. Mm-hmm.
And guess what it was?
Well, we clicked on the video and it said no longer available. And I was like, I'll bet it was on that box set.
Probably.
We did watch a little
And,
thing, though,
and Disney's like, nope.
Yeah. We watched somebody talk about it.
which was informative.
Yeah. It was really cool. I really want to see more of those deleted scenes. I know they added some to the
Disney Plus.
Disney Plus, but obviously not all of them.
Dude, I fall more in love with Disney Plus. Like it because they actually have the extra features on there. It's like something you wish Netflix would do or something.
Yeah.
Like this channel I watch called Let Me Explain. They're like, yeah, Netflix has special features too, but they make you go to YouTube to watch them. Dude, you have a video platform and tabs, and but Disney Plus, if you don't know yet and you have Disney Plus, you watched a movie or something, there's that extras tab, and sometimes it's just a trailer, but sometimes it's like behind the scenes, music videos, all stuff. It's really cool.
So I think we're done with old stuff. You want to get into
Yeah.
Birds of Prey.
Birds of Prey?
So I liked it. I know you said you thought it was meh.
I mean, as a movie, without knowing anything about the comics, walking into the movie, I'd say it was like a B minus.
Okay,
It was okay.
that's an A plus for a DC movie.
Serious, right?
I loved how like visually gorgeous it was.
It's very bright.
Like it looked like a comic book.
Yeah.
Kind of like a more colorful Sin City or something.
Well,
And-
obviously, because Sin City's in like black and white.
well,
Isn't it?
you know how the Sin City had like the
High
how like the reds were
Yeah,
like
yeah.
highlight and stuff.
That's true.
Like so, this was like high contrast, but like every bright color. Like there's a scene at the end that I won't. Are we spoiling stuff? We always spoil stuff here.
We
right?
always spoil
Okay.
stuff. If you're listening
Yeah.
and you don't want to hear spoilers for Birds of Prey, just turn us off.
Birds of
So
prey.
at the end, right before they off the bad guy and stuff,
Yeah.
there's a scene where like Harley's like standing and there's like a low angle and stuff, and everything's kind of foggy and dark around her. I was like, it looks like they animated her clothes, like how bright it was,
Oh,
but it
yeah.
looks beautiful. You
Even
know?
the funny CGI scenes, I didn't mind. Like the Ace Chemicals plant exploding, and at the end, obviously walking into that big giant fake CGI amusement park.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That was even okay to me. Or the
booby
docks. The docks was okay
Yeah.
too. It was almost like the Sim City, not Sim City,
Yeah.
Sin City,
yeah.
Sim City?
Sim City too. But
Well,
I didn't mind that aspect of it.
a friend of actually both of ours from college. Remember Aaron Brewer?
Yeah.
So he messaged me and he was like, "How was it?" Because I'd like put in the story that we were at the movie, and I was like, "I loved it, but definitely not like super deep. So like, don't go in expecting like a story. I mean, there was a story, but like,
It was a really small story.
Yeah,
It's
well-
like, oh, that diamond, better get it back.
Well, the whole thing is like it's supposed to be this emancipation story for all the women in it, right?
well, for Harley,
That's supposed to be-
because it literally says for the one Harley Quinn.
It's true, but in the movie, we're spoiling shit. Every one of those women had emancipation at some point in their
guess
roles.
so.
A little bit, yeah.
If you think about
All
all
of them
of
had
them
a little
get
bit of
their,
something.
their thing.
Yeah.
They get their way at the end, and it being like open season with Harley, and like now she's broken up with Dr. J or whatever she says, Mr. J.
Which is funny because I remember I actually went through a bunch of other people's reviews and went through some of the trailers today, like after I saw it, and some people kept saying like, "Oh, she broke up with Dr. J." It's like, but in the movie he kicked her out,
Mr. J. Yeah,
so it's kind of like, huh?
yeah.
Well, I think
So she's
her-
like coming to terms with it, you know?
yeah, I think like what kind of actually happened is like he always throws her away and then she always comes back. So
Yeah.
I think in her not coming back was the break because.
And then
I
the
don't.
big thing was
does she ever say that she broke up with him? I think she
No.
always like we broke up.
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
then
like, we're
her
done.
her blowing up the plant was kind of her like
That-
saying like
I think
I'm
in the
one that
trailers
broke
though,
up.
she said, "Yeah, I broke up with Mr.
Okay.
J or whatever." It's like, but in the movie he kicked you out, which I wish they would have put a little bit more focus on that, like I'm not coming back kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like that he would let me come crawling back, but I wouldn't. Like that would be a lot cooler if they focused on that. To me,
yeah.
that scene where she blows up the Ace Chemical plant, though, is literally everyone's wallpaper right now who
Oh, yeah?
loves that movie.
It looks really cool. All the scenes, like you could screenshot almost like so many scenes in that movie.
beautiful.
it was almost like they took. If you watch the old like Disney stuff, to where they started using multiple frames behind each other, like
Oh yeah,
I can't remember what they
Layers.
call it. It was like layers of cartoons almost behind each other. The way they would shoot these 4 different glasses all kind of moving at a different space. And that's why like when you'd go through the forest of like Bambi or something like that, the background would move different from the foreground.
You get a
Parallax.
sense of
Exactly.
yeah,
I kind of
yeah.
feel that's how it was, but only with
Yeah.
CGI. Like it was kind of weird. Then it was layered over the top of like of stuff that was real. So I don't know.
What I was
It
going
looked
to say
cool.
about there not really being a story was that I know Josh is a fan, but if anybody hasn't watched, there's a show on Screen Rant called Pitch Meeting. Pitch Meeting of Birds of Prey. Have you watched it?
Yes.
It's second to Venom, probably one of my favorites
Yeah.
because they point out everything like, yeah. I won't spoil that for you. That's much
It's pretty
like,
amazing.
It's so funny.
Dead on.
But once again, also though, you have to see the movie and then watch it because otherwise you're like, okay,
Yeah.
it's funny, but like you don't get like how on he is about stuff. But
But like at the end where all the guys come in like, we're gonna go kill him. Like, oh, why don't they bring guns? Like, I don't know because they didn't want because I wrote it that way. Like,
Yeah.
okay, that makes sense. Like,
and
and then they
black-
just walk out. Like, hey, we win. Like, didn't they realize there are also more
Yeah.
more people out there? Like, yeah, but-
whatever. Or like when Harley was in the prison, they're like, and then all the inmates got released. Like, oh, they're gonna kill her, and it's like, no, they attack her one at a time. Like, oh, very considerate.
Oh man, I just watched. I think it's the honest trailers for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2: Secret of the Ooze, which I remember being little and loving that one the most for some odd reason. But when I got older, watching the first one and being like, no, this one's obviously the best. But I hadn't seen it in probably 20 years at least, and so the girls hadn't seen the second one yet. So we watched it. And I was like, it's just funny because you see like Tatsu in certain scenes where he's just standing like right next to the turtles, and like all the other bad guys are just in the background waiting as they're fighting one by one. You know,
Yeah,
it's like that.
they
scene.
pulled like a Last Jedi.
Yeah, where they're just like taking turns fighting.
Yeah.
Like that's no,
It's
they
like
were just all
one-on-one
kind of
battles.
Yeah, they just tackle them.
Yeah.
You know, in real life.
Was that the one? Was 2 the one where they sit around the fireplace?
No, that's the first one.
That's the first one.
Yeah.
Okay. I love that movie.
But
There's also another one part with Shredder too, where he's like just standing in the background, like less than like 2-3 feet away from him, and that's just funny because Honest Trailers is like, as we stand here and wait and wait.
Yeah, there is like a little bit of like martial arts things about gangs fighting and everything, and there's like the parlay rules, stuff like that. All this stuff like applies to those things, and I think there is a thing in there where you're supposed to like everybody's supposed to battle one-on-one.
I doubt that's the actual thing
In
that
real
happened in
life,
this movie.
doubt that
No,
happens.
yeah, in movies and stuff, like when they portray, it's always like this, like the whole gang's there, but then it's kind of like that. What was that Michael Jackson video where both gangs are the two get tied
beat it.
together? Yeah,
Yeah, I think what's happening in the movies is the director's not directing the stunt actors.
Well, I think actually didn't they in the second on the on the action stuff like that? I think they got the guy from John Wick.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's cool.
So, which is why a lot of those
in
scenes
Birds
look,
of Prey.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in Birds of Prey, they got John Wick's
Yeah, man.
stunt coordinator, I think it was, to do all that
Dude,
stuff. Because some of those scenes look really
was
good.
Sick.
Dude.
Like, I'm sure Margot Robbie had to have some sort of stunt double and some of that stuff.
Yeah,
the first scene, like the first time you see her get crazy. I don't know if it's the first time or the second time, but she's in the club, she's getting all hammered, and then she jumps up and breaks that dude's legs.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which is, to be honest, those scenes are the few things like that are the only reason that makes this R. Like maybe a couple of the cursing and a couple of those scenes. That's the only reason they make this R.
Yeah, there wasn't any like sexual.
Yeah, I think after you get one F-bomb, so like maybe even two F-bombs would have made it rated R or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, like her action scenes, like when they were fighting in the, like after she has all that blow when they shoot the thing, and she goes crazy, like the flips and the camera movement and stuff. It was almost like a kung fu movie, like super stylized. Like
It was, yeah.
I'm glad that it was a less gun work, even though they made fun of that scene. You know, like there was a lot of, and you got to see Harley like throw the mallet and stuff. Like
There's also a part though, like when she's running away from the guys with machine guns, and there's like no, and like cans and stuff are stopping her from getting hit. And I'm like, come on,
people say it wasn't enough of a story. Is that what people are saying? Because I feel like there were so many layers of story, it was hard to not get away. Because the whole thing is like she leaves Joker now. Everybody already doesn't like Harley Quinn as Joker's girl. They already don't like her. So after they break up, now she's got a target on her back, and every one of like her people that mess because they do the grievances.
yeah, so
That was another thing. Like all the pop-up
Yeah.
visuals was hilarious.
So to me, I don't know if this is what everybody else is saying. To me, it's not that there wasn't a story, but it was that if I was supposed to consider the story, so either I'm going to consider the story and a lot of things don't make sense, or I'm not supposed to consider the story and just sit back and enjoy the like the ride, you know? Because if I think about the story, I'm like, so this guy, Black Mask, runs the town. What the hell about Joker? Like, why is everybody afraid of Joker if he's the one who's in charge of the town? Like,
that was tough,
you know, like
especially at that scene that you had brought up where it's the CG amusement park.
yeah.
Like you see in the room where they find that chest that has the grenades, stuff like that. That was one of Joker's old like hideouts, and you see the ha 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 on the window. And you know that's like a Joker thing. Where the heck's Joker? Where's his gang? Where's all the other gangs?
Yeah.
They did mention Black Lions, which was fun, but little Batman thing. But
even if we consider like maybe Batman was dealing with some other stuff, Penguin's dealing with some other stuff, or whatever.
Yeah.
Even if you
everybody's out.
ignore everybody else, the Joker doesn't make sense because the reason that no one touches Harley is because Joker runs the town and you don't mess with the Joker's girl.
Yeah.
But then like maybe after the first 10 minutes of the movie, Black Mask runs the town. So you don't mess with him.
Yeah.
You know, so like where the hell's Joker in the middle of all this? You
Or
know?
Penguin or any of the
Yeah,
other
but
ones,
but,
you know.
but they set it up though that like you don't mess with Joker's girl.
Yeah.
Because he's the king. But then Black Mask is also king. It's like it's a weird like you know, so it was
continuity wise, I mean, I'll get into it in a minute when we get to that part. But for right now, just would you like it as a regular movie? It's okay.
I think as a regular movie, it was great for me.
Yeah, I'll probably like when it comes out home release, I'll probably see it again. Like I think I enjoyed it more than Venom.
Yeah.
Like, and I kind of liked Venom, even though like once again when I don't like try to think about the story and the inner workings of it and stuff. But like in the soundtrack was amazing. I love the soundtrack. And then the little like
cast too.
the little nods, I didn't even realize until later. I watched a bunch of those like Looper videos afterwards. Like the whole Diamonds Are Girl's Best Friend scene was like this weird psychedelic, crazy like spin-off thing. It also was like a nod to Ewan McGregor because he Moulin Rouge.
Oh yeah.
Like I didn't even think because it's in he like they're together when she goes in that hallucination and stuff. And it was like okay,
cool little connections.
Yeah, I don't know.
What did you guys think as Black Mask as the bad guy, like Ewan McGregor, his whole deal? That was the most narcissistic person I think I've ever seen, though.
What's really funny
It was
is
really like great, greatly acted, and then his boy toy best friend buddy. I'm not sure what they are.
I couldn't figure out what he was supposed to be.
Was okay. There's a lot of places that you could find them talking about like toxic masculinity supposed to be displayed a lot in this movie, and they obviously did. There's actually, I think there's only one guy in the movie that wasn't a dirtbag. Like the rest of them are all. Everybody in this movie is dirtbags.
Right.
Yeah, to their credit, we're in the criminal underground for the majority of the movie.
Yeah, but I mean, like the characters, the Ewan McGregor and Robbie, both in a lot of press things were like, "Oh, this whole movie is supposed to be about toxic masculinity," but like, and so you could see a bunch of with the driver and stuff being a jerk, and a couple of the other guys being a jerk,
Where
and
you
that guy
really see
selling
it
the
is
hyena being a jerk, but like
the detective and
the detective
police
stuff being-
office was very masculine.
But like Ewan McGregor has this big thing about him talking about it online, but I just feel like he's just an a-hole, like a crazy person. And on top of that, like he very much seems like he's gay. Like in this movie, him and Zaz very much seem like they're like, hey,
They murder together. That's very it's an intimate thing.
I'm not sure about Ewan McGregor, but his partner, I
Zaz.
thought maybe
Zaz.
might have been like a Mr. Burns Smithers thing.
Yeah,
you know?
maybe.
But like
That was a cool tie-in.
I saw some of the toxic masculinity things in Ewan McGregor, especially when he was like he got the bad news that she got away or something like that,
Yeah,
and then
freaked out.
heard a girl in the background laughing.
Oh, the girl laughing.
and then he like forced her to strip in front of her and stuff. You know,
She's
just,
shaking and
it's all it was like, and that was like, of course he's an a-hole, but also at the same time, like he picked like someone in his head that was less than him, you know, and stuff that he could like boss around and stuff, and then expected his female body like driver and / bodyguard, I guess, to stick around for it, you know. So it was
Black
like
Canary.
That was one of the more actually like dramatic, like that kind of worked in the darkness kind of vibe that I saw, but like and but I don't know. I hadn't heard that it was supposed to focus on toxic masculinity.
Dude, there's a lot of the press junket stuff.
I see it.
There's a lot of people complaining about that thing.
Yeah.
They're like, well, I don't want to go see a movie if they're just going to like rip on guys the entire time. And I was like, well, I didn't feel like they ripped on guys the entire time. But to be honest, there's not a guy in that movie that you see for any period of time that's not a dirtbag.
Everything I saw, I was like, yeah, that's pretty much it.
But like I said, I think to their credit, besides maybe the little girl who's a pickpocket,
Yeah.
everyone's pretty much a dirtbag in the movie. Like even Harley, she's like, I'm a terrible person. She sold out the girl, you know, stuff.
Yeah.
But
they all do wrong.
I had seen some stuff about how since it was it produced by Margot Robbie?
Yeah, it was her production.
And then directed by a female director as well.
yeah, she had the director girl had only done one other movie.
So
Kathy Yan.
Yeah.
So they pointed out like the differences in how they were dressed between movies, and I'm only taking this at the word of like female friends that have pointed this out and stuff. But like in the Suicide Squad movie, even though she had like a great outfit and everything, I guess that was like when a guy dresses a woman, you know, because she was in like hot pants and stuff. And Margot Robbie had made some comment of like, in the second movie, I won't be in hot pants fighting crime, you know. And so this one, like, she had still like a sexy outfit. But I guess I don't know if it was her or the director or whatever. But they said like she was still dressed like super sexy, but like something that a woman could like do backflips and throw hammers and stuff because she was in that kind of like that half like jumpsuit thing.
Yeah, it's that
That's
like
weird,
yellow
though.
leather,
I feel like
sparkly jumpsuit.
I feel like that would actually mean a little bit more.
or it's like what do they call
like,
it?
is it in
Overalls?
the way?
I'm not taking. I'm just taking this from like
I
some
know.
female friends I talked to.
No, it
and
makes
they,
sense.
And they had said like if I was gonna run away from the cops, I wouldn't do it
wouldn't
in
be
hot
in, like,
pants. I would do it.
Yeah.
So I was like, that
Why
makes
would
sense
you
to
be
me.
half
But-
naked.
But I guess my female friends that had seen it, whether they loved it or not, said that it was like a step up to see like the Birds of Prey characters all kind of like taking their stands, you know, and like even Renee, was it?
Which one?
The cop.
The cop.
She was like,
Montoya.
she was
yeah.
funny,
Yeah.
but like, and kind of stereotypical, but
Montoya.
she was always kind of like, when you saw her on screen, I believe that she would actually kind of be a cop, at least at the beginning, you know?
Yeah, she seemed like a cop.
And stuff. And even when
That
like,
was her trope thing too.
no, but I mean like just visually, she didn't walk into the station with like short shorts and,
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. She looked like a cop.
and then even like at the end when they picked their own weapons and stuff, and she picked up the corset thing, the bulletproof vest corset thing, and Harley was like, you want to be sexy or protect the girls or something? Oh, she said you want to protect the girls. In my head, I was like, oh, this is where she's going to get sexy. But even then, she's like, oh no, she like put it under because it's a bulletproof vest. You don't want like on the outside
Yeah.
of your stuff and things like, oh, okay, that makes sense. I don't think that was like a huge message in it. It was like a subtle thing of like everything
Sexy.
still looks super colorful and sexy and action packed
Sure.
and stuff.
Yeah.
But like, to let like a female cast kind of like be dressed and directed and written by
There wasn't any overt,
female like.
sexy stuff.
Well,
There
they
wasn't.
did that on purpose, and in some much of the junkets that I was watching, they talked about that.
And it's great.
They said it was
Didn't bother me.
it was a movie produced without the reception of a male gaze or something
Exactly.
like that. Like, but I still thought it was like super sexy was the thing. I was like, I thought so.
I mean, like,
do you know what it
all
was?
that stuff's super baggy.
It
I mean,
was
let's take a look
Black
at like
Canary.
most of that stuff.
Black Canary, just her whole deal. I was like, yeah, girl. you sing, bird.
Yeah, like
It doesn't look anything like the comic.
No, not at all.
Not
Like
at all.
I dug her. Even like Huntress, what I thought was interesting.
she was a great casting. I don't even know that much about Huntress because just to have Scott Pilgrim
She's
girlfriend.
the only one in the movie that I was like super excited for when in the movie. Like they're like, oh, they're gonna do the whole origin for it. And it was cool.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I wish I was watching that movie.
It was interesting to have this other type of comedy in there, like this like awkward comedy, because that was her whole deal. Is like she sleeps and she's like, "Do you know who I am?" And then like you see her practicing in the mirror, and then when she's interacting with the girls, she's always like the kind of like she's not like the I don't know what I'm trying to say. Like she's not aggressive in the group. She's the one that's always like cowers back on or like pedaled back on what she's trying to do or whatever. But then she'll shoot you in the throat with a crossbow.
Yeah, the crossbow killer. I'm not the crossbow killer.
Yeah. There was an interesting group of girls, like the whole dynamic and the way they worked off of each other.
Harley's reaction to Huntress in the funhouse when they went down the slide, I think was the audience reaction because like the guy went after her and then she like flipped on top of him and then they rode him down like a sled while killing him.
Yeah.
And she was like, "You are so cool." I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I definitely would love that part too when she came down slide and was like just
Yeah.
stabbing the guy repeatedly. Like
awesome.
It's funny because usually when I'm watching a movie, even when there's like glaring like plot inconsistencies, I'm not thinking about it at the moment. It's usually when I leave the movie, I'm like, wait, why did that happen? But when they walked out of the funhouse, I was like, they're still there. Like I thought that then, and then I was like, why are they walking out like they just won? Like,
I know, yeah.
But maybe that was supposed to be for humor and it didn't hit right or something.
maybe.
Yeah, maybe
I
it
felt like
didn't
there's a lot
land.
of that in the movie though.
Yeah.
A lot of like small little humor things were like, I mean that's funny, but not ha ha funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, people were, excuse me, people, before I saw the movie, I was looking at a bunch of things online. That's what I mean by people.
What do you mean by
I was hearing like a Deadpool with a splash of Tarantino, and now I'm like, that was a little bit of a stretch. I mean, I see where they're going. Like,
I can
to
see
give-
with Deadpool because he narrates everything and she's like
Yeah.
narrating everything.
and the fourth wall breaks and stuff like that.
She jumps back and forth every once in a while, so you're like, "What's going on again?"
I kind of dug that. I wonder
Yeah,
if
it was
someone,
cool.
a script doctor, did that because they're like, listen, there's not much of a story happening here, but if we mix up the narrative, then this will be interesting because it was interesting to see the flip flop because you see these people get assassinated by the huntress before you know who she is.
Yeah.
And for someone like me who didn't know that character before, it was like, oh, this is part of like this group, and there was like a little bit of like kind of bait and switch.
Yeah.
With the characters, and like, oh no, this is a new character. So it kind of felt new every 15 minutes or so. So I kind of that kept my interest in that sense.
That ending though, like where they start chasing after her, I'm like, like, oh, I need my roller skates, and you need to pull me, and you need to whip me like that roller derby thing at the beginning of the movie. Like, dude, just have her drive up and shoot him in the face. Like, how long is this going to take?
That was one of the things where I was like, I'm just not gonna think about it too much. Like,
I had dreams of roller skates last night.
Yeah, because of it.
that, Yeah.
that's why. Did you stay for the after credits?
There was no after credits.
Ooh. So there wasn't an after credits scene, but there was an after credits.
Oh yeah,
So
I looked up before I left. I was like, they're like no after credits. I was like, all right, cool,
so
I'm out of here.
When I checked before, it said there's no after credits scene, but there's something after the credits. It's up to you if you want to see it or not. It's
weird.
So,
All right.
I'll tell you. So when the last logo comes up, Harley comes back up, and she's like, "Are you guys still here?" so stupid. Why are you still watching? Like, what kind of movie do you think this is? Something to that effect. It's not the exact quote. And then she's like, all right, well, since you're still here, I'm going to tell you, Batman, and she starts saying, and then it just cuts her off. And I thought that was just funny because it was like a dig, like we're not a Marvel movie. But then when I went home, I guess it was a reference to the Harley Quinn cartoon show where she says the Batman fucks bats. And so it was supposed to be like a
nod to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She does say that a lot.
So, I mean, it was okay as a movie.
Okay.
I don't know if I'll watch it again. Like, I don't feel like I'd watch Shazam again, definitely. A couple of the other ones as well, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It was okay.
So I heard after opening weekend, it's the worst performing DCU movie so far. US. I guess internationally, it's okay. Whatever.
Yeah.
97.1 million to make it.
Yeah. So they said it's like kind of barely break even right now, the opening weekend. So it should be fine in the big picture.
In the long run, they're always fine.
It's just not super profitable. Yeah. Well, I guess like what was the?
There's rarely movies where they actually tanked where they actually.
What was the movie that lost like 100 million? Like something. I think that one
recently, right?
Yeah, that one wasn't going to be okay.
Yeah,
because it's going to be like
Cats.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
I think that one's like, well, they might be okay now because people are going to watch it every week.
And people talked about it enough. They're like, I want to see this crap show.
Which is weird because like most people I know, except for Andre the Black Nerd, was like, let me tell you about it so you don't have to watch it. Because it is crazy. But it was like, I don't think it was worth it for me to sit through to know what I was going to see. Like I would have rather watched Black Nerd's 15-minute video about it.
Yeah.
But it's disappointing that it did that poorly because I don't think it's the worst DCU film.
No.
Like they said it did worse than Suicide Squad and Justice League. I'm like,
Suicide Squad. They
awful.
had a lot of actors to pull in for Suicide Squad. I feel like a lot of these people in this movie, with the exception of Ewan McGregor and Margot Robbie, were the only two big names.
I'm not an analyst, but my amateur gut instinct is that the reputation of the previous movies kind of soiled this one. So like, because Suicide Squad, like even I had my hopes up. I'm like, these trailers look amazing. Like this might be the first good one or something. And then it was like awful besides the music.
Yeah.
And Harley. And then like Justice League was like, maybe this will be all right. And then me and Vince got to go to an early screening and they were like, what should we do with the movie? And we're like, don't release it. Like there's nothing good about this movie except for maybe Wonder Woman's bits and stuff. It's so difficult to watch. But then Suicide's Birds of Prey, I was like, besides the title being wrong, I thought it was like a lot of fun, It
should have just been Harley Quinn.
Like I could see if they were like Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey, because by the end they formed the group, but it definitely was not about the other girls, Well,
let's jump in at this point to the comic era. I don't think they're nothing like the Birds of Prey.
I don't know anything about the comics.
Absolutely nothing about their like the Birds of Prey.
So the cop wasn't in the Birds of Prey, I heard.
Oh yeah, I mean she's just like kind of a friend. She helps out every once in a while.
Yeah, but she's not in the group.
She's not in the group.
Yeah, and then neither is the little girl.
No, she helps out every once in a while. Cassie Kane, she is actually. They
Batgirl,
screwed her up horribly. She's orphaned right now. At some point, she was Black Girl, but she was the daughter of Lady Shiva, and she basically was raised to be Raish's right-hand bodyguard. Yeah.
Nice.
So by like birth, this girl is like trained. She's trained to be mute, and so she doesn't talk, and she just basically listens and sees people's body movements, and Shiva's the same way to where like she's basically can rival Batman. Like she can, and so is Cassie. So like they are just BA from the time when she was born, and they like nerfed this girl like hardcore. Like it's like, oh, she's just a pickpocket.
Yeah.
What? I was like excited. I was like, oh god, this is gonna be awesome. There's gonna be and like she's gonna be slicing people up or something. She's a good guy now.
I mean, I guess she did. She technically got the biggest, goriest death or kill. I mean.
Yeah, but
I mean, I know she only pulled a grenade, but like it was gonna.
Yeah. She's supposed to be like super socially awkward because she didn't talk for like the first half of her life, and she's part of the Bat family, so it's just weird why they had her. Plus, Birds of Prey wasn't like a group for like half of the comic series. It was just called Birds of Prey. Most of it was Barbara Gordon when she after the Killing Joke when she got paralyzed by the Joker.
Yeah.
She became Oracle. She called herself Oracle, and she kind of teamed up with Black Canary to she's kind of like, I'm the guy in the chair kind of thing, like talking her through a lot of stuff. And that's like 90% of Birds of Prey.
Gotcha.
It's like her and other people would like wander in. So Huntress definitely wandered in a bunch of times, and they kind of be part of this little group. Harley Quinn a little bit later, but like it's nothing
like they depicted.
It's nothing like they depicted in the movie. And those costumes at the end were awful.
So that's funny you say that, because the reviews I read about the continuity, they said that they were the most comic book accurate in the DC thing.
Who said this?
I don't know. I haven't watched the comics and stuff. They were like, oh, at least at the end they got the costumes right.
What?
There was like two or three of the you might have missed this in Birds of Prey.
In it.
Oh, the costumes.
No, like the costumes. When
the costumes, yeah.
At the end.
No, the costumes at the end are awful.
Yeah.
Like they're not the same.
So,
no.
The cop has a costume.
Do you want to see what she?
she's
Here's
not even
what
in
Black
Birds
Canary
of Prey.
looks like. Hold on.
Yeah, birds.
I mean, obviously, Black Canary is white, but her outfit alone. Let's see here. Here we go. This is like her outfit, like 90% of the time, like that. Hold on, that's coming up still. There she goes. She got this blue jacket, like blackish pants or this netting on her legs.
Gotcha.
That is her, and she's been around for 75 friggin' years. So, I mean, like not always the same person. She had like a mom or like in the past, but like they're kind of like between the new iterations and the older iterations. That's her.
That was something I saw too. Was that I guess Black Canary, the references she made said that she referenced several different multiverses or something.
Interesting.
Not on purpose, but she referenced several different continuities for her story. So it was like they just kind of pick and chose, like, whatever
parts. Yeah.
About like her mother or something.
I mean,
like that.
she's a lot of times she wears like a blonde wig to kind of make it seem like she's, how Superman's like, oh, I'll just put on glasses. Like at least her, like she wears a wig and whatnot, so she looks different.
I think if there was a grievance with her character in the movie, it was that she didn't use her powers throughout any of the rest of it and gave no
100%.
reason. Like there wasn't even like but I can't because I don't want to be known or found out or it's dangerous or whatever. She just didn't.
She just didn't want to. And then like they've fought so many people, like why not just destroy them all?
Yeah,
The only little inklets of things that she gave was like the one story about, or the cop gave her about her mother.
Like your mom.
And she's like all pissed off because she wasn't there for her mom or whatever. And then the only other thing was when she broke the martini glass. It's like the only little inklets of. But other than that, if you didn't know, you don't know.
If you didn't know, you didn't know.
Yeah. I mean, I caught wind of it after the first two references. And I'm like, oh, she can scream. And then the whole time I was like, I guess she can't. Because there was a couple instances, but especially when they got to the funhouse the first time.
Yeah.
Like I was like, why don't she just wipe all these people out?
Yeah, exactly.
But
she can go toe to toe with some pretty strong people.
At that point, though, when she didn't, I was like, well, maybe it's not that strong, But then when she did it the second time, I'm like, oh wait, she just wiped out the entire theme park. Like, all right, who knows? I don't know. Comic books.
Yeah.
She's also the only one with powers.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't think it deserves being like the worst box office. Maybe the name change will help people see it. Because they said there was no excuses for it to be the worst performing. They said no other like new film came out.
Without Barbara Gordon, this movie shouldn't have been called Birds of Prey at all. Because she started it and she's in like 90% of it.
Gotcha.
And so it just doesn't make any sense, like to me as a comic book reader.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I mean, to be Harley Quinn's movie, I mean, she could. Here's a better idea. And I'm sure they probably floated it beforehand. Harley Quinn and Ivy. I mean, that movie in and of itself would be fun. I don't know if you watched the old cartoon where they kind of team up or whatever. That would have been fun alone, just in and of itself. And they don't have to be super sexy doing it.
Yeah.
Or if they could, if they wanted to, they could. If they wanted to, it's just funny how people kind of choose back and forth. They're like, oh, I don't want it to be sexy. Like, oh, I want to be sexy because I want to. Like, okay, whatever. Whatever you want to do.
The difference in that is if it's the same thing with like representation and stuff. Like it's always going to be better. Say like with Parasite, it's a Korean story. I think it's a universal story, but the specific storyline it happens in Korea. It was way better for a Korean team to have been behind like the writing of it,
Absolutely.
than perhaps like an American team from like LA or something.
A white.
And so that made a difference. And even if it was like had a cast of like some like other ethnicities like white people or whatever and stuff. If the foundation of it was like created from, like whoever was being represented in it, it's just better. But like with this, to my understanding, was predominantly like female driven in the production and the writing and stuff.
Yeah, they went out of their way on purpose.
It feels more natural. Like I feel like all the characters in it are like super sexy and stuff, but they also feel less like I don't know, like waifu. kind of like vibe, and more of like a like when Harley jumps off the pole and breaks the guy's legs and stuff. That's a very like empowering thing. She wasn't just like a stripper. She was like there on her own accord. I feel like I got the vibe better than in Suicide Squad. She was definitely just like the guy's eye candy, and then she showed that she could kick ass every once in a while and stuff. So I think that's the thing. Not always, obviously, but like it seems like that's the differentiation for whether it comes across as like ingenuine or not. And stuff. If the person creating, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I just know that it's a comic book and that it should at least show that it's coming from the source material. Like.
Well, yeah.
Well, I was just addressing like if it's supposed to be sexy or not.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like,
but if the source material is somewhat sexy, I mean, you kind of. I mean, there's a way to tone it down. Like obviously, like if you take a look at some of these, Black Canary can be very super scandalous looking, or she could have black pants on. Like so.
It'd be funny if another thing they floated by was, why don't we just call this like Harley Quinn and the Emancipation of blah 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 blah, and don't even say anything about Birds of Prey,
and you can just run into it,
and then as you're done the movie, cool, they had Birds of Prey in there, or like a little nod to Birds of Prey.
And
I think that would have gone over better.
Yeah,
instead
and they're
of calling
so
it
scared of
Harley
using
Quinn and the
Batgirl
Birds of Prey too.
or any Batman stuff. They're just scared of that crap. I don't know why they hold that like Bat Family like just so close. Like I don't want to do anything with that. With anything.
I understand. I'm not saying I agree with it, but I'm understanding why they included the Birds of Prey thing in there, because it ended up becoming it was the chaoticness of all these women getting screwed over around Gotham or not Gotham or whatever that was.
It's Gotham.
I was Gotham, but it wasn't.
Gotham.
It wasn't Gotham. Like I only remember it was Gotham whenever they said it was.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But all these crazy things were happening, and then kind of intertwined, and then created the group at the end. So even though it was mostly about Harley, you saw all like the different like threads around town, kind of like coming together. So I get it. I do disagree that it. I do agree that it shouldn't have been called the Birds of Prey as like the headline thing.
Yeah.
And also it's just not a well known. I didn't know anything about Birds of Prey. I didn't even know that was like a franchise.
Yeah.
Before.
It's weird that you'd pick a franchise thing and go into it. I don't know, and just not.
And then not
deliver on it.
But that's kind of the DC's like whole MO.
Yeah.
Is like since the beginning, like Justice League, very little like it only in still pictures did it resemble Justice League. And the best parts of Justice League, arguably, like what Aquaman and Wonder Woman. Aquaman is like nothing. Like that's just a whole new character. Almost like it's not, but it is. And then Wonder Woman, like Patty Jenkins, just was like, we're just not going to pay attention to the rest of this, and just do it.
I'm super excited for WW84.
Yeah,
that does look good. I mean, it's just weird, like how they can do that so well. And
Man, yeah,
Patty Jenkins, man,
I can't wait. That movie looks dope.
Oh, I if it's online anywhere, if we can find it, we'll put a link to it. I don't know if I can find it because me and Vince went to this party that Patty had. Some people videoed it, but she had a very, very short interview in the middle of the party. And they had mentioned, like, do you think this will do better than the other DC? It's basically a veiled way of saying, like, is this going to suck like the other ones? And she kind of essentially said, like, I hope not, because, and she kind of complimented like Zack Snyder and the rest of them, because she was like, how hard do you have to try to mess up the Holy Trinity?
Yep.
She's like, for the last 70 some odd years, like, you can't open the door at Halloween without a Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman.
Something. Yeah.
So she was like, we just did Wonder Woman, and
just trying to do that justice.
And also, and I think in that case specifically, it worked out really well because not only is Patty a good director, but since the whole like crux of the first Wonder Woman movie was literally about like female empowerment, like the Themyscira, and then like her being disrespected in that time in the Western world and stuff. Having Patty's like perspective on it, like helped the subtleties so it didn't come across as like genuine or whatever,
or preachy.
Yeah, and so she's just kind of like, if we had a Superwoman essentially.
And I feel like when she did the press tours and whatever else, that she didn't overly talk too much about that, like to where she pushed it like it is being preachy, to where like, no, here, let me show you this movie, kind of deal. Instead, and I feel like this movie a little bit did. If you go back and look at some of these things, like Ewan McGregor talking about it, it's like, we're fighting toxic masculinity and all this other stuff, and it's like, a little bit of that's in the film, but that's not what the film's about,
I guess maybe the cops storyline kind of was.
Yeah, a little bit, but it's not exactly
It wasn't
what the
nuanced.
film about.
It wasn't nuanced. I'll give it that. Like it was pretty black and white. It was like every cop is bad.
Well, it's just no respect for women in that industry.
Yeah, but one of those things, it wasn't. It was just nuance. It wasn't nuanced. It was just black and white. It was like, well, she's the only good one. Everybody else is bad. You know, like
I was just saying, like, if you don't like, I don't know, when they try to make it a big thing in the press or whatever, like, look at this thing we're gonna try to do. It's like, no, just do it. Okay.
See, I didn't hear anybody of that.
That was a lot. It's kind of annoying.
I didn't notice any of that.
I didn't watch any of it.
Yeah. Well, I went back. I was like, all right, let me see, because I'd heard before I went to go see it. Because last night I was like, hey, I'm going to go see this thing, because I had heard, okay, it didn't do well and this or that, and I was like, well, I want to see what it's about before we talk about it. So,
Yeah.
and after I saw it, then I watched a ton of this other stuff, and I was like, ooh, the marketing for this movie is awful.
The marketing was a little weird. You know, as much as they did a lot of marketing for it, I forgot it came out.
Yeah.
And we were actually somewhere else, and someone had mentioned something. I was like, oh, we should see that tonight.
The funny thing is, Bad Boys 2 came out too the same weekend, and I didn't
Did?
know that came out.
I knew that came out.
Bad Boys came out the previous weekend.
Did it come out previous? Okay, well,
A weekend or two, because I only know that because we went to see Dr. Dolittle instead of Bad Boys, which was
it's like I didn't know, and that's the third movie, it's supposed to be the final one or whatever. So it's like, oh, that should be a big, whatever. And I didn't hear hardly anything about it.
I saw the trailers a bunch, and the trailers were enough for me. Like, this is not for me.
I'm on the internet like 24/7. There's nothing to like. I don't know. You should be able to get to me.
I love Bad Boys.
Little footnote though.
I just haven't seen it yet.
Just mentioned. Did we talk about Doolittle last time?
No.
So I don't want to talk a lot about it because it's not worth talking about. But especially your younger girls and stuff. If it comes on home release, it'd be a fun watch. It's clearly made for kids. I don't know if Robert Downey Jr. was just high the whole movie, because like I don't get his thing in it. Like, I think he's supposed to have a Welsh accent. I didn't know that. Like,
Yeah.
But the movie is so self-aware. Like, it's like they knew they were making a bad movie the whole time. And there's things that happen that are so inexplicable that are just, the viewing we went to, me and Vince went to, like, we were the right crowd. Like, we were cracking up the right things, yelling things at the screen and stuff. And it was so funny because, like there's a point where that Dr. Dolittle goes to ask a squid in an aquarium what happened at like a potential murder scene or something, you know, and it's just bubbles because it's a squid. But then the captions like read like, "No way, snitches get stitches," and like, what the heck? Like, this is like what 1800s.
This is
like
and a squid.
Whales, you know, like, and we're just cracking up. And the guy behind me is like, "What the hell?" And then we're like, "Okay, we're in now." And there's all these little things like they go to like Dr. Doolittle's like late wife's like father, who is Antonio Banderas.
Yeah.
And then like they're like, well, we got to sneak into his castle, so they like solicit the help of these ants. And then the ants go up there, and somehow they don't need to be subcaptioned; they just speak English. And they're like, "You come to me this on the day of my daughter's wedding," and I'm like, "What is going on? This is insane! It's so bad, but so funny because they acknowledge it."
I actually wanted to see that when I was little. I read a bunch of the Dr. Dolittle books, and it seemed way more Dr. Dolittle-y than even the Rex Harrington version.
Oh, this one?
Yeah, like you remember the Rex Harrington Dr. Dolittle? No? Okay, well, Angie loves it. It's like a musical.
Oh.
And it's making like what the 50s and 60s, whatever. And then you have the other version with Eddie Murphy. And you're like, oh.
That
was funny.
That was very 90s where they were like, let's make it modern and hip, you know.
It's like, hey, let's make a Birds of Prey movie.
Yeah. But anyway, if you have a cheap theater or something, they're showing Dr. Dolittle and you partake in substances, that's the kind of movie to go see.
I'd probably go see Dr. Dolittle instead of watching Birds of Prey again. I don't know.
Harsh.
In a cheap theater.
That's true.
I do. It's entertaining. The movie was entertaining, at least.
I'll probably see it again. We also got to see it in like Dolby, so like
that's always fun.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It was like a 2-hour music video.
Yeah, I definitely need to get the A-list back. I think we're gonna do that sometime in the future.
Yeah.
Well, guys, thanks for listening, and hopefully you enjoyed the movie if you went and saw it.
And hopefully we spoiled it just enough for you.
Yeah. Hopefully they bring the yellow spandex a little bit more.
Yeah. Bring it.
All right, guys. See you later.